What happens when you combine retro tech with a gaming PC? This. It's an all-in-one gaming PC built inside of a CRT shell. Now, if you want to see the full build-out video, check out the link in the description. But in this video, I want to give you a closer look at the case, features, and specs of this PC. We're super interested in combining retro aesthetics with modern technology, and I think this is a great place to start. The first thing I wanted to talk about is the screen. So full disclosure, this is not a cathode ray tube inside of here. It was at one point, but not anymore. In a previous video, we got a lot of comments about how it's not a cathode ray tube, and yes, you're correct, but we don't want it to be. While it would be cool to have an all-in-one gaming PC with a CRT monitor, that wasn't our goal with this. The primary reason for this is that the original CRT in this shell was not functional. Plus, it's a great way to reuse old technology and revamp it into something new instead of it being wasted in a landfill. So this is a 15.6-inch 4K IPS monitor from a company called Hongo. The screen is 16 by 10, and that's important because it fits the more square aspect ratio of the CRT frame. That's a little bit of an unusual aspect ratio, but it's important so that it can work with this case. I think it's a great option. It's 144 Hertz, colors look really nice, but full disclosure, it's not entirely perfect. One of the issues we keep running into is that every time the monitor is turned off, it resets the brightness settings. With this shell, you can't really access the buttons on the monitor to adjust the brightness without taking the whole thing apart, so we're stuck with the default brightness until we find a solution. One of my ideas is to add some materials to the buttons on the inside that can physically interface with the buttons on the monitor, but that's a whole nother project. Before we talk about specs and hardware, let's take a closer look at this case. The case itself is really what gives this build its personality. One of the awesome things about this case is that this door that used to house these inputs is now a great place to store your headphones. So I'll tell you my favorite part of this is that we actually rewired the original power button from the TV and connected it to the PC's motherboard. So instead of a standard power switch, you get to fire this thing up with the same tactile click that powered on the CRT. It's a small detail, but it makes the experience feel so much more authentic. Another thing you might notice about this case is that it does have a VCR built in. It doesn't actually work right now for obvious reasons, but if you also have a VCR that doesn't work, we recommend checking out Charter Oak Scanning and Digitization. It's a quick and easy way to digitize your home movies from old VHS tapes, and it costs way less than buying all of the equipment to do it yourself. They transfer every type of video to digital option, ranging from VHS, VHS-C, High 8, Mini DV, Betamax, and so many others. They also digitize 8mm and 16mm film reels, as well as photos and negatives. If you're ready to bring those dusty tapes in your basement back to life, check out Charter Oak in the description below, and you can find all the information you need on their website. If we can ever get out the tape stuck inside of this broken VCR, we'll definitely send it to them. Now let's talk about the specs of this build. This build is rocking an RTX 4060, which gives us amazing performance in games while staying efficient in this compact setup. We paired that with an AMD Ryzen 7 5700X3D processor, so it's great for gaming, content creation, or even just being a daily driver. All of this is running on an MSI Pro B550M motherboard, giving us everything we need, and despite the tight space inside the shell, it actually has really good airflow. The case itself comes with built-in exhaust vents that the original cathode ray tube would have used. Plus, this vent that used to be used for the speaker is now a great place for airflow intake. So everything runs cool. We did have some people that were worried about that. All right, so now that we've taken a look at the ins and outs, let's play some games on it. This build can handle just about anything we throw at it because of the great components we put inside. But in my opinion, where this setup truly shines is playing retro games. Now I know you could just play retro games on an actual CRT and that looks great, but if you want to play retro games on an emulator and have it look really crisp with the IPS monitor, this is a great choice because you're getting the really crisp graphics with the retro vibe. Another cool thing about this build is that it is almost entirely wireless. Really, the only cable you have is the power cord. You do have the option of plugging in a USB-C to charge your peripherals, but overall, it's an all-in-one unit. You can take this thing pretty much anywhere, plug it in, and get going. So what do you think? It's a fully functional, high-performance gaming PC built inside of a CRT shell. If you enjoyed this build, make sure to like, subscribe, and let us know in the comments what you'd like to see next.